And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Titanic, the game, which seems slightly late considering when the movie came out. A very popular movie. I'm kind of ambivalent on the movie. I mean, I have a problem with throwing a very valuable gem into the ocean, and when you die or whatever it is, you, instead of remembering your family and husband of many, many years, you remember a single fling. Yeah, it's fine. I don't dislike the movie necessarily or like it, but I know a lot of people do. Obviously, it's made quite a bit of money. And so here we have a board game designed around this. Now, the cover of this game suggests, hey, this is a mass market game. I mean, it looks like the cover of the movie poster. But inside, when I opened it and set it up, I was like, wow, this looks like a gamer's game. Well, which is it? Let's find out. At the beginning of the game, you're going to set up these rooms. Each room has a different size. You can see this room is 100A, so it goes in the A column. It says for historical accuracy, you can place them in their exact spot. Otherwise, you just shuffle the same sizes together and put them out. There are different passengers scattered throughout here. The different passengers are considered to be the different types of passengers, but they're worth different value points. Greens are 1s. Grays are 2s, and reds are worth 3 points. The rule book says that the number of points is equal to how difficult they are to rescue, but since they're kind of scattered all over the boat, I'm not really sure what that means. Each player is going to pick a character, and so the characters that you have, you can be the captain, Ruth, Jack, Cal, or Rose. When you play that character, you're going to have a character board here that you'll put your portrait into. You also get a certain number of action cubes based on how many players are in the game. And in turn order, players are going to pick one of the starting bottom spots on here, and they're going to take something off of that board and add it. You can take a star token, a passenger, a life preserver, an action cube. And so players are going to be collecting these as the game goes by. On a player's turn, they're going to be utilizing their action cubes. So you just move them over here and spend them, and as you get more, you'll have more actions to spend. You'll notice that each player has some life preservers, and if you come across passengers, you'll be able to, for each life preserver, you'll be able to rescue a passenger, and you can have up to 5 of these life preservers if you collect them, which will allow you to get more passengers. One of the actions that players can take is moving around the board. You can move sideways and up and down. You just can't move through these gray walls or ceilings. And then after you move, as a free action in an adjacent room, you can take one of these people. If you have a life preserver, you can take the tokens or action cubes or life preservers as you come across them. However, when you do those, instead of actually taking the item, you're going to use a whiteboard eraser and cross it off on the board to show that you've gotten it. So that's a free action. Grabbing somebody and other things are actions that you'll take. Eventually, you're going to want to put people onto these lifeboats. As you put people on lifeboats, as you fill them up, you're going to get points. And when the boat launches, you can also put an action cube on here. And when the boat is completely full, whether it has an action cube or not, you're going to get these points for putting the different folks on the boats. You always get the 1, 2, and 3 points based on what color the person is, but you're also going to get bonus points if you fill the lifeboats up, and you can see the lifeboats get larger as you get to the top. At the end of your turn, you can use star tokens to buy cards. There are 4 different decks of cards that are available in this game. So these cards here are going to give you special abilities. Here, move directly to the top deck tile of your choice. Move into a room with another player anywhere on the board. Pick up an action cube from any tile and add it to your player mat. So if you want something, those are the cards to add. The people cards here, these are your permanent abilities. Once per turn, you can discard a lifesaver for a point. You can discard a card from your hand for 1 point each turn. Score 2 points when you load the last space on a lifeboat. Then we have these cards, which are going to be in different locations. Play this while in the dining room to get 2 points. Play this and your turn in a smoking room for 3 points. And then finally, we have the movie reel cards, which have to do with the actual movie. In fact, they'll show scenes from the movie. Score a point per person in your hand or played cards. Take one passenger of each color and randomize them and pick one. If you guess correctly, you score 6 points. These cards also will have different things like this. Be in the same room as another player, hold their hand with their permission, and they score a point. You get 3 points. Sing the chorus of My Heart Will Go On. Any other player may join, gets a point. You get 5 if you do that. Hang on to the edge of the table and ask everyone to promise to never let go. Each player who does scores a point, then drop underneath the table. So you can buy these cards at the end of your turn for the star points. That's the whole purpose of collecting these. And you can play them on your turn as a free action. Now you'll notice at the top of the board here, there's a lifeboat. Everyone is attempting to get to that lifeboat because once you're there, you're done. And that's the only, you can't win unless you escape yourself. And you can see the first person gets 5 points, etc. This is for a 4-player game. Not everyone can make it. However, the first person to get to 20 gets the door token, and they're going to be safe at the end. They don't have to get on the collapsible boat at the end. At the end of a player's turn, they're going to turn over a flood card, and it's going to tell you, hey, column 4 flooded. So when that happens, you're going to look at the different columns on here. The lowest one, for example, here, gets flooded. Anyone who's in there isn't dead. You're just kind of floating around in the water, and you can still grab stuff from there, but you want to get out because when all the water tiles on the side are flooded, then the water level will raise, and if the water level raises above you, you're going to lose 3 points. So this is a way to force players to keep going towards the top of the boat. That's it. Once everyone has escaped on the lifeboats and or the door, whoever has the most points is the winner. There are some secret goals that players have, private objectives. Each player will get one of these at the beginning of the game, and it will give you a private objective based on the player you are. So if I have this card and I'm Rose, I get 2 points for each person that I played in my hand. And then this one, I start with 13 points, subtract 1 for each card I played. Here, 2 points for each full lifeboat, 2 points for each Jackson Cube, 1 point for each green passenger on lifeboats. So they're going to be different depending on what player you are. Component-wise, the game is kind of a mixed bag. The artwork on these tiles, this is great. I really like this. It's stylized, but then it clashes a little bit with the board, and it definitely clashes with the cards, which are going to show different scenes and things from the movies. So it's kind of weird. The cards themselves aren't great quality. The meeples are fine, but the biggest problem I have component-wise with the game is I don't know who decided that you should use a whiteboard marker to cross off resources as you get them. It would have made more sense to just simply put all the resources on the tiles at the beginning of the game, and as you come across them, pull them off. But they don't include enough resources for you to do that. And you can argue and say, well, you're going to be flipping these tiles over as the game goes by and taking those resources off, putting them on. The whiteboard is just as problematic. And that also means at the end of a game, you need to erase every single one of these little tiles. It's just, in my opinion, a really bad decision. The rules themselves are not great. I had a hard time deciphering some of the things. I think I got all the rules right, and I've read them many times because I really thought I was missing something. Which is it? I'm not sure. I said this at the beginning, was it mass market or gamer's game? I have a lot of problems with this game, folks, and I guess if you're watching this, you can imagine the number one problem is those idiotic cards in there. Sing My Heart Will Go On, lean on the edge of the table, draw someone else, hold their hand. What? That makes no sense in this game. Now, it's been alluded to when I was reading up on this on the internet, oh, those are jokes, you don't have to play with them. That's correct, you don't have to, or put them in the game. Right? You don't have to put them in the game. You could have, there's games that are silly and there's games that are not. Mixing the two makes no sense. Those cards are, there are a lot of points. If you get one, I will, if you play with me, I'll refuse to draw from that pile, but it's not stopping anyone else at the table from doing it. And they're like 3, 4, 5 points. It's a lot of points in this game. So that's one problem. Another problem is the theme. I did watch the movie. I've seen it more than once, and I don't remember the part where Jack, Rose, Cal, Rose's mom and the captain were all competing to run around the boat rescuing passengers. In fact, other than Jack, I guess, did anyone even, Cal was trying to shoot people on that boat. What is going on with this running around rescuing passengers? But I digress. And not to mention the weirdness that the red, green, and gray ones are different values. And the rule book's like, look, we're not saying some are more valuables. We're just saying it's harder to rescue people. Then why aren't all the ones in the bottom the same color? Why are they all scattered throughout the ship? That was just really confusing to me. So thematically, this problem, and also, why do you need a life preserver to rescue someone? Like, hey, get out of your room. Do you have a life preserver? No. Then I'll stay here and wait for someone who does. I don't. Anyhow, I can forgive that. That's more of a minor gripe about the people running around. Where I have a major gripe with this game is it is an immensely turn-based, rich get richer type thing. I was mind-boggled at this. If you go first, you will pick a spot that gives you an extra action cube because having more actions lets you get a faster start than everybody else. I just found that to be. I went through the rules multiple times saying there's got to be something wrong here because there's only 2 action cubes in the bottom row. If I get to pick first, I'm picking a spot with an action cube because then I can move more and guess what? Get more action cubes so that I can then move faster than everybody else. Also, going first means some parts of the ship start flooding before the other people even get a turn. I just find it to be crazy. And then the person who gets the 20 points first, who's winning the game, gets the door, which means now they don't even have to run to the exit to get out. What? There's also a card in the game that's like, try to fit 2 meeples on that door. I guess that's a joke because I can fit like 30 meeples on the door. But anyhow, so I found that to be problematic. And then you're just kind of walking around the ship, picking up stuff, rushing people to boats. You have these private objectives which are not balanced. Some private objective, like the one that says you get a point for every green meeple that's on a lifeboat. You don't even have to do anything for that one to work. Other people are naturally wanting to put passengers on lifeboats to get them off the ship. So they're going to do it for you, while other ones give you points for things that you do. That's not balanced. So a lower component quality of that whiteboard marker, bad theme, silly cards, bad turn order. The game then comes down to just moving around and collecting people and getting them off. That's not bad. I could live with that, but that is so squashed by all those other negative things. And then I worry because people are going to go buying this game expecting one thing, and it's not. And then if maybe you're a gamer, you like, oh, okay, well, I'll ignore the cover and play this good game, and then you're kind of thrown off by this. I don't know who this game is marketed to. Well, I can be pretty clear it's not towards me. There wasn't anything I really liked about this. I thought the idea of running around and rescuing people and getting them off, that concept is cool. Running through the maze of the ship, that's cool, but the randomness of which levels flood, this is just a big pass for me. Sorry, folks. I wanted to like this because I like when intellectual properties have a really cool game behind them. And Titanic just doesn't have many good games out there. There's a few decent games that are themeless, essentially. And this one has theme in it, although the theme makes no sense. But the game itself I didn't find to be enjoyable. I'm Tom Vasel. You've been watching The Dice Tower. Dice Tower Judgment. Like Rose, I'll let this one go.